Welcome to the Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show on 99.7 and 1450 WHTC. It's your opportunity to learn more about your garden and your yard, about dealing with pests, and about taking care of the birds. You can be part of the show with your questions at 395-1450. That's 395-1450. And now, from DeBruyn Seeds on Washington Avenue in Zeeland, here's the Master Gardener, Jan Meeuwsen.
And good morning, everyone. Yes, it really is true. It is Jan live in the studio. Thank God I am back. I had a health scare there. I was in the hospital for a week. Thank God I am back. Can't do a lot, but I can do my show. I am so excited. And praise God for the beautiful, beautiful day we have outside. Oh, my goodness. If you want to get out in that garden and do something, this is the time to do it. And I do apologize right now. I am on oxygen and I'm on a little portable thing that makes a few squawking noises every once in a while. So if you hear something, that is just my oxygen machine. It is nothing to be scared of. And I'm also going to have to take a break to cough every once in a while. What's new at DeBruyn's? Well, we've got the cemetery liners for the Memorial Day parades, and you got to get your liner out on the cemetery now. We've got the liners. We have also the green pails. We have plenty of them, so don't worry about it. But yes, I would get them closer to the beginning of the week rather than the end of the week. We'll still have enough pails. Might run out of liners, but it's been a big sale item right now. Everybody's running out to get those, and we do have those, as well as things like broccoli and cabbage and tomatoes and peppers, and we still have I think some strawberries left, and we also have the herbs outside. And flowers and hanging baskets, and it's been fun. Just the sheer amount of green out there is great. I can't go in very often, but I do go in occasionally. So yeah. So there, I'm in. So I'm getting better. We also have some seed potatoes. We have onion sets and shallots and garlic left. And of course, we have tons and tons and tons of seeds. So there are certain seeds that you can't plant now, like squashes and cucumbers, things like that. Beans should never see the light of May, meaning they shouldn't be growing up out of the ground during May. Plant those on the end of the month. But in cucumbers and squash and pumpkins, they all go in first part of June when the soil is warm enough. Soil still is not even 60 degrees yet. So, it is a little bit chilly. So if you do put your tomato plants in the ground, they might just kind of sit there for a while. But as soon as the soil warms up, they should start doing something. Or you can just, keep them in their pots and wait until the soil does warm up, which would be the end of the month. So it's up to you to whatever you want to do right now. But there are certain things that just shouldn't go in the ground yet. I see that the farmers are planting the field corn now. So you can probably put in some corn if you want. That is another thing that doesn't like really cold soil, especially if you put in the newer varieties, the better tasting varieties. Put your hands in the dirt. If your hands feel cold, it's probably too cold to plant some seeds. If your hands feel fine in the dirt, and do go down, don't just plant them on top, but, dig a hole, 4 or 5 inches down and feel what it feels like. And then you decide. It's common sense most of the time. So, enjoy it. Enjoy the garden. It's too much fun this time of year. A lot of people are coming in with annual bluegrass in their lawn right now. And those are those light colored patches of grass, usually circular. And And in a little bit, they'll be throwing out seed heads, and they're just a little bit off in color from the rest of your grass. That's called annual bluegrass. Now, it is a bluegrass, but it's an annual thing that will die out, and then it will look terrible. And then more seeds come up and it does it all over again. It doesn't have much of a root system. I mean, you can go and just pull it all out if you want. But just remember, there's a lot of seeds there. So put down some seed and get that going quickly. I would put down that Scott's fertilizer with weed control also in it. So the annual bluegrass does not come up, but your good grass does. That would be a great idea. I took care of it I just went around and sprayed all my patches with Roundup. It looked horrible. It looked like bombs went off in my front yard. But it did do the work. It did kill it. And I put in our athletic mix, which is high in improved perennial ryegrasses. And it's a beautiful lawn. And it's got Kentucky bluegrass in it also. And came in quickly, established quickly. And once your grass is established and it's nice and thick, then the annual bluegrass can't come up. So that's what we all want, a thick lawn so those weeds don't start in the lawn and make it very unsightly. I like to walk around, or at least I used to, with the thing of weed killer in one hand and with a little pointer thing on it, and just spray all the weeds in the morning. Kind of nice. Just take a walk around. I usually don't have too many weeds, so that's kind of fun right now. The guys are doing my driveway right now, so I've got concrete everywhere. So my lawn doesn't look that nice right now. But, hey, once this is all over with, maybe we can get all that concrete crap off the lawn and start all over again. It's been fun. So, another thing that everybody's complaining about, put in your garden, and the little rabbits come by and eat it all. They love almost everything we plant. So I wouldn't sit there and think I'm going to plant something that's going to keep them out. I was in the other day for a couple of hours into work, and I was answering the phone, and I had two people call me up, and they had planted marigolds all around their garden for some reason, and they thought that was going to keep the rabbits out, and the rabbits were eating the marigolds. Well, yeah, if that's what you plant, that's what they'll eat. So don't think that they don't like marigolds. That's not a big thing. They'll eat it if it's there. One year I planted all kinds of flowers to see which ones they didn't like. And they didn't eat my marigolds and they didn't eat my snapdragons, but they ate everything else. So next year I'm all armed, ready for them. So I just planted marigolds and snapdragons. The next day they were all eaten right down. They'll eat them. If that's all there is, they will eat them. So marigolds are great to keep out white flies around your tomatoes. So that's a great thing to plant with your tomatoes. So is basil, a great thing to plant around your tomatoes. But just remember, it's not going to keep mammals out, but it will help with some insects. So that's always nice. There's some things that like to be by each other, and there are some things that don't like to be by each other. We do have a brochure at DeBruyn's on companion planting, and it tells you all the things that you should plant around what you can plant around certain things and what you shouldn't plant around different things. So it is kind of fun. You can download that online, or you can come in and get the companion plant brochure. We've always got plenty of them, and if we don't, or one of the guys will quickly print some up for you. It's kind of a fun thing. We did a lot of research a couple of years ago, many years ago, is when Becky was my intern, and so it's a kind of a fun brochure, and it's one of the brochures that people ask for all the time. So yes, get that. You can figure out how to plant things. Also had some people complaining about last year they had black and yellow striped caterpillars on their parsley and their dill. Those are swallowtail butterflies, and they're beautiful butterflies. So, I always plant a little extra, not a little, a lot, because they can destroy those plants just for them. Um, they love it. So, dill and parsley are the two things they really love in my garden. So, hey, I'm going to plant extra to get my little swallowtail butterflies there again. Um, if that's all it takes, I will gladly do that. Sometimes we plant flowers for pollinators, sometimes we plant herbs. So you never know. Your oregano, if you let that go to seed, which it goes to seed quite quickly in hot weather, it produces these beautiful little white flowers, and the bees love them. They will be covered with bees. So if you want to attract bees, sometimes just planting herbs and letting some of them go to flower are the best way to get them to attract bees. You can plant all kinds of flowers, but they love herbs, and it does make good honey. So, plant your thyme, plant your oregano, and let them go to flower. And they're pretty too. I wouldn't be picking them because, yeah, the bees like them, and you'll probably be bringing some bees inside if you do pick them. But yes, it's fun. Again, plant extra just so you get the pollinators and you get nature the way God intended to get their pollen and to get eat. In the case of the butterflies, they're caterpillars. And remember, if you want butterflies, you got to put up with the caterpillars. That is, you just got to remember that. My butterfly bush is usually covered in caterpillars and in butterflies. So, that's a good way. I know the butterfly bush is kind of a weed, and you really have to be brutal with that to prune it down if it gets too big. But it always comes back. I pruned mine down this spring, right down to about 6 inches off the ground. And right now, it's a good, 18 inches tall, covered with leaves, and it's growing like a weed. So the weed that it is, I guess. But yeah, so it survived the pruning. So yes, don't worry about your butterfly bush and pruning. And that's like you can prune that almost any time of the year. Really isn't that special to do it in the spring or in the fall. I did it this spring only because I forgot to do it last fall. One of those things. And then you notice it in the spring, like, oh, that thing's sticking up. Got to get rid of that. Thankfully, I did that before I got sick. But yes, yeah, it can be trimmed. So just remember, butterflies do have caterpillars, and if you want the bees, sometimes herbs are best to plant, and they're probably a cheaper thing to plant than trying to get all those beautiful flowers. Oh, I can tell that it's time for me to stop talking, and now time for you to listen to some different ads now.
Steve Kaith in CBS News. Join me for the CBS World News Roundup, weekday mornings at 8 on 99.7 and 1450 WHTC.
Oh, this is bright, happy music. How fun is that? It matches the day. Beautiful, bright, happy day, bright, happy music. Hey, the phone lines are open, 616-395-1450. I have to remember that again. 616-395-1450 is the number you want to call if you got some gardening questions. And I will tell you the insect that most people complained about last week, fleas and ticks. They are out in force right now. We didn't have a really hard winter, so a lot of those could overwinter. It didn't, don't have to start from zero. That's the bad part about this. But you can spray your backyard. with stuff that is safe for your animals to run around in and your kids, but kill those fleas and ticks. Or there is something called Bug Clear that you can put on the lawn to get rid of those guys too. They can be a pain to try to get rid of. Oh, and we do have a caller. Good morning, caller. You're on the Garden Show.
Good morning, Jan. I know I've heard you talk before about old lilac bushes and to cut some of the old big heavy branches away that the young ones have. When is a good time to do that? Can I do that now?
Now is the perfect time to do it, right after it's done blooming.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Get some sunlight in there. Yep. And
okay, have a good day. Hope you feel better too.
Oh, thank you very much.
Take care.
Bye-bye. And we have another caller on the line. Good morning, caller. You're on the Garden Show.
Hi, Jan. Is there anything that can take algae off of patio stones?
Actually, there is. We have a product, excuse me, at the store that will take that off. You got to spray it on. You might have to do it twice, but it does a great job. It's by Scott's, and it's moss and algae killer.
And another question, is there anything that'll get rid of the tall grasses that come up in ground covers?
Yes, actually, there's something called Grass Be Gone, and that does it. And we do have the generic form of that, too, so it's a little cheaper. But, yes, it does work. Spray it on a warm day and make sure you get it on the tall grasses, and you can get rid of those without having to pull. Because I know if you try to pull, you're just going to break it. At least that's what happens to me all the time. So I just spray with that stuff.
And that doesn't hurt the Pachysandria?
Does not hurt that at all. Nope.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yep, you're welcome.
Bye-bye.
And the phone lines are open again, 616-395-1450, 616-395-1450. If you need a question answered, I'll be glad to do that. And weed killers right now, that's the product of the week. They are just flying off the shelf. It seems like all the weeds are coming out, not just the spring weeds. They're going to the spring weeds like the hairy cress, et cetera, are going to kind of diminish and disappear. And then the rest of the grasses will come out pretty quickly. We're not grasses, but all the weeds will be out there. So if you want to, kill some weeds now, it's a great time to do it. If you're putting in grass seed now, it's kind of the end of the season. You need to have frequent rainfall on the lawn if you can't water it. So we're nearing the end of that. But, we'll get to that thought right after we get to this caller. Good morning, caller. You're on the Garden Show.
Hi, Jan. I have got a lot of ants in my lawn. Do you have a product to recommend for that?
You and 5 million other people. Ken was telling me that everyone's coming in with ants in their lawn. And what we have is something called Bug Clear. And you put it in your fertilizer spreader, and you can spread it all over the lawn and then turn on the sprinklers or do it right before a rain and get it in, and it will get rid of those ants. They are out there in force, I have been told. So, yes, you are not the only person.
Oh, okay. I know I've had ants before, but this year it's just like it's uncontrollable with ants. Honestly, I've got a really big yard, and I have it professionally done.
Well, then what you do is you take the Home Defense and get a gallon jug of it that's got a little wand on it, that's got a little battery powered, so you just push a little button, and you walk around your house, and you spray up on the foundation and then out about 4 feet all around your house. And then that's what I did right before I got sick. And I have no ants in my house, and I live on a sand dune. So if anyone gets ants, I do.
So that home defense then is okay for the yard.
Yeah, it's okay for the yard, and actually you can use it inside too if you want to spray under the sink or
Yep.
along the
Yep.
baseboards or whatever. You can do that too.
Okay, because I know you've recommended that home defense, and I've actually been using it the last couple of years, and it does great. I didn't dare put it in my yard.
Yep, you can do it
that's
outside.
Good to know.
Not a problem. And it is for the cracks in the driveway, whatever. You can put it there too.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, good. You've been very helpful. Hope you feel better soon.
Oh, thank you. Bye bye. And if you've got a question, 616-395-1450.
You've been gone for a few weeks. I bet you're going to get a lot more calls this hour.
Tuesday morning, we had a lot of calls.
Everyone's trying to catch up.
Yes. And I feel a lot better than I did. That's it's amazing. And I had great doctors and great care. So I had way too much testing and way too much blood drawn. I can't imagine I have any blood left after the amount of blood they have taken out of me. And why in the world every morning at 5 a.m. do they have to wake you up? It seems like you just get to sleep. And they wake you up and they have to weigh you. And they turn on all the lights in the room. And then you got to get out of bed and be weighed. And then can go, and then they go, and now go back to sleep. Well, no, I'm not going to go back to sleep because I know in another half an hour, Dracula's coming with all the blood, and she's going to want all of my blood again. And then they come, well, now it's time to say, you just don't get any sleep. It was, you just kind of lay there and wait for the next one to come in because they're going to come in. It's just got to be, okay, I'm so glad I'm home and I don't have that. Oh, so yes. It was an experience, let me tell you. Okay, so talking about weed killers and grass seed. If you're going to put grass seed in right now, I definitely, without a doubt, would put down the Scott's starter fertilizer plus weed control because the weeds are coming in fast and furious, and you're just going to have a lot of weeds if you put down grass seed right now. So get the area clear, put down your grass seed, put down your fertilizer with weed control, and you've got 6 weeks of no weeds. So it's like you get this jump start on your grass and, anything to get your grass in and get it growing before the weeds can start coming in is an excellent idea. So especially this time of year when the weeds are coming in fast and furious, and it's like almost every type of weed we're seeing at DeBruyn's right now. So there's different products for different things. Like, she had grass in her Pachysandra. Well, that's a different thing than what you would spray on a lawn for dandelions or, so, take a picture of your weeds or bring them in so we can identify them and we can help you figure out. The guys are really good at figuring out what the weeds are and then what you need to have. And so that's what I would do. And I noticed that they, when you're not there for a while, they bring in all this new stuff and they're bringing in some new fertilizers for the summer. Prophesy or something like that. I don't know if it's a fertilizer or weed control or whatever. I'm going to have to do some looking up of this, but it's a brand new product, a couple brand new products for summer fertilizing and taking care of the lawn. So this ought to be fun. Add some more things to the arsenal so you can get that green lawn that you want and that you need. That would be absolutely wonderful. Yeah, and remember, it's been warm, but you can't plant certain things yet in the garden. They just don't come up. The soil is too cool for them. One of them is beans. Wait until the end of the month to plant your green beans. You got plenty of time. They take 60 days. You're going to be doing several plantings of beans during the summer. In fact, you're going to get sick of the beans. So you don't wait till the end of May to plant those. Cucumbers, pickles, they really require warm soil. Squash requires warm soil. The pumpkins require you to start them in June so they're ready in August or in October rather than August. So don't even think about pumpkins right now. The pumpkin growers don't plant them until mid-June, so that's when you should do it. Now, you can start, say, like your winter squash inside right now, and then plant them outside in, 1st of June. That would work. Cucumbers, I wouldn't start them. They don't transplant well. And they're just as easy to start outside. And again, they're one of those quick things to grow. Oh, the news is coming up. We've got to take a break here. We'll be back after that.
You need to know, on the air and online. We're here for you. 99.7 and 1450 WHTC and WHTC.com.
All right, that might you to be a little more active, I guess. Yes, I love that. All right, phone lines are open, 616-395-1450. 616-395-1450 is the number to call. And I am going to talk about invasive species. This is a hot topic this spring. We don't really need any more of these invasive species in Michigan. And I'll tell you one that's gotten kind of out of control is the marmoladed stink bug. Those are those little shield bugs that look like a shield, and they're brown. And they love grapes. They love our fruit crops. They love tomatoes also. They love just certain things, and they will eat them and destroy them. So it's not a good thing for farmers anywhere. They have come up in the last few years, and some years they're worse than others. I had a couple that obviously had gotten in the house somehow over the winter, and during the winter, all of a sudden, there they would be crawling up the wall. They love to spend their winters inside your house, inside the walls, and then in the spring they come out, and a lot of times they come to the warmer side, which is always inside, not going right back outside. They probably can't find where the hell they came in, but yes, they come on out. You need to get rid of them. Those aren't the things that you catch, like the little cute little American ladybugs that you would release outside. These are things you need to kill. Problem is, if you smash them, they let go of their scent. And once they do that, that just makes more scent bugs. It's a sign for more scent bugs to come out. So we don't want to do that. I was at book club last night, and one of the ladies there was having a problem with stink bugs, and she would just take a tissue and try to grab them and get them over to the toilet and flush them down. And they didn't always flush down. You had to do it a couple of times. Well, you know what? I have a better thing. This is the old duct tape. You've heard me talking about this before. Take a piece of duct tape if you see one, put it on your jeans, and then pull it off so it isn't as sticky as it can be. And then you walk over to the wall and you put the duct tape right over top of the bug, and then you gently peel the duct tape away. The bug is stuck to the duct tape. You can roll the duct tape up and then smash it, kill it, and get rid of it. You don't want that. That's a bad bug outside, a bad bug. It's not going to hurt anything inside, but you just don't want to give it a chance to get outside. The ladybugs that come in and spend the winter inside, those are those oriental ones that will bite if you do pick them up, because you think, oh, it's just a little ladybug. They've got a different dot pattern. They've got more dots on them, or fewer than aren't the symmetrical dots that we see in our normal ladybug, which does not spend the winter inside with us. So they're not good, and they're not good outside. They're not like our lovely little ladybugs outside necessarily. They might eat some bugs that we consider a pest, but you know what? Get rid of them too. Again, don't smash those because they leave an orange stain on your wall. And honestly, you can wash and wash and wash. You never get rid of that. You'll have to paint over it. So again, the duct tape works, or even just a Kleenex. Again, with those are easier to pick up. They're not quite as big as the stink bugs. Are a good inch. They're a hefty size bug. So they don't let off any kind of odor necessarily. They just stain. So be careful with those and get them out. Also, there's the another bug that likes to come in, especially if you've just put mulch down and you put mulch down right up to your house, which is a no-no. Back it off about 4 inches away from your house. Don't put the mulch right next to the house, because then the strawberry root weevils that came in with your mulch are going to come marching in the house. And again, they don't do anything in the house, but they will be walking up the walls in, like, say, the bathrooms or any dark areas. You'll turn on the light and there'll be one. And it's not like it's an invasion, but you'll see, several over the course of every day. So again, back that mulch up away from the house. So you got a good 4 inches between the mulch and the house. You won't get these, but again, they don't hurt anything inside. They're just kind of annoying. Once they get in, they can't figure out how to get back outside. So they like to crawl in hallways and bathrooms, because those usually don't have lights on. They like to be in the darker areas. So that's where they're going to be. So again, not a bug you want to have crawling around in your house necessarily all the time, but it's an easy one to pick up. And when you squeeze it, it kind of crunches. So it's a satisfying kill on that thing. And again, it can kill if you've got rhododendrons outside. It loves the roots of your rhododendron, and it can kill your rhododendrons. It wiped out a whole bank of them at Hope College, by the math building. They had they were beautiful rhododendrons, and they got strawberry root weevils in there, and that they don't have those anymore. So just, what those little tiny bugs can do, they can kill everything. So, but the invasive species, now we're still on the lookout, and the Michigan Department of Ag wants you to be the people to spot it. So there are different bugs. You should probably make yourself aware of what they look like that are just absolutely bad news if they get into the state of Michigan. The Japanese lantern fly is one. It's a tan bug with wings on it. But once it opens up, it's got red, it's got yellow, it's got black polka dots. It's a beautiful insect, but it devours trees. So its favorite tree is the tree of heaven, which is kind of a junk tree. But if they don't have those, it will go especially into apples and peaches and pears and whatever fruit tree, and to grapes. They love those things too. So we don't need those in the state of Michigan. That would completely destroy the economy here. So be on the lookout if you see one. Michigan Department of Ag needs to be notified. We need to stop talking, and we need to start taking a break. So we'll be back right after this.
This is Rusty Halverson. Join me for West Michigan Farm News every weekday on 99.7 and 1450 WHTC.
All right. Waking me up. Thank you. Thank you. Get a little music in here that keeps me awake. We've been talking about, weed killers and invasive species, and there's a bunch of invasive species out there. The emerald ash borer came in and did a number on our ash trees. That was an invasive species. But you can do something to help prevent the spread of these things. Don't landscape with invasive plants. There are some things that can become very invasive. Honeysuckle is one of these. So if you want to landscape with that, that's okay. I mean, there are honeysuckles that are native to Michigan. Just remember to keep it under control, keep it pruned. But you know what? If you can get away without planting something like that, do it. Say the tree of heaven. People do like that thing, and it's a weed as far as I'm concerned. And say goodbye to that, and hello to a beautiful flowering dogwood. I mean, it's no contest. The flowering dogwood is much nicer. Clean your hiking and fishing gear to ensure that you're not accidentally spreading hitchhiking invasive species. Simply wiping down your gear should do the trick. And many state parks right now have a boot brush station. Use them. It might be some invasive insect or plant out there that you just pick up the seeds on your boots and then you bring them home. Use the boot brush station. It's that easy. And for those who fish, trade in those felt-soled waders for rubber ones. Much easier to rinse off and clean when you're done. Do not pack a pest. Avoid moving firewood. Firewood is a favorite home for many of the invasive species, like the emerald ash borer. Buy firewood where you're going to burn it. And when you buy firewood, use it all up. I remember camping when we were little, and it'd be your last night camping in a certain spot, and you still had a great big pile of firewood. And my dad would make us stay awake all night long to get rid of the firewood, to burn it down. Hey, if that's what you have to do, that's what you have to do. Don't pack it up and bring it along with you. You're bringing along problems. Never dump an unwanted aquarium plant or animal from water gardens into the lakes or streams. Give them or trade them to someone else that might want it. Say a water hyacinth that's gotten out of control. Don't put that, just dump it out into the lake. It's going to get out of control there. The Department of Ags had to take whole lakes and get rid of these invasive species that people have just thrown out their aquarium stuff. And fish also, don't put your fish, even your koi into, if you got some decorative goldfish or whatever, don't put those outside. They carry a virus that the ones outside do not have, and you will kill all those. So again, trade them with somebody else, or get rid of it humanely. And clean, drain, and dry your boat after leaving a lake. Thoroughly remove all debris from your boat and trailer. Drain the water from live wells and bilges, and consider letting it dry before enjoying another lake. Don't just go get your boat out of the water and that's it, and then just go home. Most places where you can dock will have places where you can clean it off. Just don't bring a pest that one lake might have over to another one that doesn't have it. And those are ways that you can help with the invasive species. Or you can join one of the garlic mustard pulls. The state parks usually have those coming up. That's that little heart-shaped leaf thing. And we do have a caller on the line. Good morning, caller. You're on the Garden Hour.
Good morning, Jan.
Good morning.
See, I just wanted to thank you for mentioning about bringing firewood to different places and burning it.
Yes.
We had a terrible thing happen in the Upper Peninsula when we used to deer hunt up there for years, and it's probably been 15 years back or so, and somebody was at a campground southeast of where we used to hunt. We were quite a ways north of that yet, but it was an airborne disease from somebody burning firewood.
Yep.
And all the beech trees got a disease in them.
Yep.
And practically, it was a mess. I mean, it changed the whole woods up there. I mean, they're clear cutting stuff, just trying to
get rid of it. You bet.
What was ever good to the mills paper yet, but
Yeah. No, that is
terrible thing.
Yeah. Don't pack your firewood and bring it one
Here
problem
goes all
from
the
one
deer
area
and
to
bear
another.
food, you know,
Yep.
on beach nuts.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Oh, what a
But
shame.
another thing too, I wanted to mention. You were talking earlier about the oh shoot. Just drew a blank.
I get those times all the
yeah.
time. I get those all the time. Well, when you remember it, you can give us a call back. Oh, we have just a couple minutes, but you can always call me back next week, too.
Oh, cucumbers, Jan.
Oh, yeah.
And I heard on the radio this past week on the national news that is it Central America we get a lot of our pickles from?
Yeah. Yep.
They had a bad growing season.
Oh. So
there's possibly like shortages on it coming, and
so let's remember to plant pickles. Yes.
that's right. Better plant your own.
Yes. A good idea. And maybe, get those recipes out from Grandma and make pickles later on. You bet.
You bet. All right. Well,
Okay.
you have a good day.
Yep. Thank you very much. You have a good day, too. Oh, so there. Might be a pickle shortage, so do your own. Pickles and cucumbers are easy things to grow, and you can have them actually grow up on a trellis, so you don't really need a lot of land and space to grow one. And they grow well in, like, say, a 5-gallon bucket, too, and just put some stakes behind it, and they'll just grow up for you. That would be fun. Well, it's that time already, and I have to remind you that I will be back Tuesday morning at 8:35 with Dan. Who am I there with? And Dan actually is here this week, so it will be Dan. And then at 10 until 11 on Talk of the Town with Gary. So I'll see him then. And then I will be back here next Saturday. I thank the Lord. And it all depends on how I feel, but if I feel as good as today when I will be back next Saturday. It's a long road trying to get better again, but hey, we're getting there. We're doing the show and plan to do it live again, like I always used to do, rather than from my house. That just was not that much fun to do it from my house. I had one of my nurses there during one show. And during the ads, commercials, and the breaks, she would be asking me questions and doing my vitals, and then we'd have to stop, and I'd have to do the show. It was really kind of fun, but we're not doing that anymore. So we'll do it live, and I will be here next week, 11:05. But until then, go green.
You've been listening to the Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show on 99.7, 1450 WHTC and WHTC.com. If you wish to hear this or other programs hosted by the Master Gardener from DeBruyn Seeds in Zeeland, check out the podcast section of our website, WHTC.com, and listen or download for free. The Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show is a presentation of 99.7 and 1450 WHTC.